Well, our latest Shamrock Rovers legend to pick his 1 to 11, as you can see, is Padjo Flynn. And Pat, before we get into your 1 to 11, and these are players that you played with during your career, just like, how are you getting on during the lockdown and so? I know you're still working away, which is kind of fortunate from your point of view.
Yeah, it's to be honest, it hasn't been too bad. I was only saying to my missus the other day, there's one of the quotes out of the poem from 1916, a terrible beauty. But there is a beauty in it all. Like, we're going out walking a bit more, we're spending a bit more time with the kids, and thank God for the weather as well. So it's been tough, getting the kids in a routine and things like that, and they're missing the football side of it, but we're managing okay.
And like, I know you're obviously involved with the under 13s that you're
under 13s, yeah.
So like, I presume, is it all? Are you just working over the computer, or what are you doing?
They're doing a couple of Zoom sessions, and then you have probably 4 sessions a week, and it's sent on. Shane Robinson, Keith O'Halloran, Pat Deans, and a couple of others come up with the sessions. And it's just a lot of technique, and then they'll have a physical day, a couple of days, and then they'll have a few days off, because the kids as well, they need a couple of days off. And it's tough for them, but you can actually see a few of them getting better, and it's a good time for them to just work on purely technique. So it's good, but for me personally, I'm missing it. I can't believe how much my life revolves around football at the moment. My own little boy isn't playing, and we miss watching him, and then coaching the 13s. They're a really good bunch. Keith Fahey's the manager, and you learn so much up there, so I'm missing it all.
Yeah. And in terms of actually getting back together with them as a group and training as a group, have you any indication of when that might be?
No, we're still going by Alan Bourne's guidelines, so I think maybe towards the end of July for small groups, and it could be August, hopefully, if all things go well, and back in our groups. But nothing's decided at the moment. It depends on everything, I'm sure, but hopefully it's sooner rather than later.
Yeah, oh God, I'm missing it terribly, I have to say. So hopefully you're right at all.
You'd miss the Friday nights under the floodlights watching Rovers. Now that's the big one. It's like, we only do up the roads. When you come over a state, you can see the floodlights and walking down. I miss the walk with the boys, So the sooner that's back, the better.
It's unbelievable. I think you probably, certainly in my case, I think for a lot of people, you really appreciate how much you love the thing when it's not there, and you're missing it so much. I mean, I'm missing it awful, terribly.
Yeah, actually, in my team, there's a few players that we didn't realise we missed so much until they were gone. So it's the same with Rovers in general. You don't realise how much our life revolves around sport and football, especially.
Yeah,
you can't have it.
Well, look, you obviously played with Waterford, and you played with Rovers and won a couple of leagues in 2010 and 2011. Moved on to St. Pat's then in 2012. Shelburne 2013, and finished up with a few seasons with Longford. So you have a selection of players. Now, I don't know, are you just including the League of Ireland ones, or have you included any of the ones from your time in the UK?
No, it's just League of Ireland ones. I was going to do the UK one. I mentioned Gaza and Dennis Irwin and be a bit big time, but I said I'll knock that on the head.
Gaza doesn't make the team.
No.
Well, look, will we start then with goalkeeper number 1?
Yeah, number 1 is probably no surprise to people. I think I've seen Desi's one as well, Alan Mannis. For me, he's just a really top keeper, top professional, and like he came into Rovers when Barry Murphy was playing really well, and Barry Murphy was a fan's favourite. So the fans weren't sold on Alan Mannis, and I'd say after probably it took 10 games to turn them around, and he's seen what he was, how professional he was, and more importantly, how good of a goalkeeper he was. So he'd be my number 1. And just for me, looking at him now in a second stint, how he's adopted his game. We played a lot more direct football. Now, it wasn't long ball, but we knew what we were good at. At the moment, Stephen Bradley's team are playing out from the back, and Alan's adapted to that, and at an older age with a few more wrinkles. So it's good to show that he can still adapt at that age. So he had it all, and to top it off for him, he won 9 caps for the North. So it was really good. He probably should have got more, but listen, he's number 1 for me, and probably, in my opinion, the best there's been in the league. I know people will say Brian Murphy as well, and there's a couple of others, but I kind of missed the Brian Murphy era, so Alan Mannis for me all day.
Okay, so Alan Mass, again, and I mean, you're right. So many people who've played with Alan have picked him as their number one. It's a great kind of credit to him that everybody just seems to say he's that good.
Yeah, he's brilliant, and it would have been easier to leave him out. He was a bit of an asshole, but he's actually nice, so there's no reason at all to leave him out.
Are there any assholes in the team?
There was a good few, yeah. I was probably one myself. Because look, I'll tell you now. There's a couple of assholes, a couple of lads who kept me out of the team, so we get to that next, actually.
Well, I'm going to ask you next for your right back, so that could be one of the fellas who kept you out of it. I don't know if this fella's an asshole, but who's your right back?
He is, yeah, you won't mind me saying. We went for forward at the back, and right back is Pat Sullivan.
Yeah.
I didn't realise how good Pat Sullivan was. I played against him once or twice. He would have played left wing and right wing when he was with Cork and Drogheda and UCD even. When he came to Rovers then, I didn't realise how good he was. Defensively, he was excellent, like really tough. I think he started his career as a centre-back. He had that bit of red mist in him as well. But his best attribute was going forward. And like, I've seen a lot of players over the years, and I'm playing with a lot who are really good at going forward. But if you look at their stats at the end, there's not many assists or goals. He scored some really important goals, none other than Belgrade, but assists-wise as well. And what he gave around the dressing room, he was a winner. And a leader by how he played, I thought. And more than that, he's a good lad off the pitch as well. So keeping me right back. And he's actually a good friend as well. But there's no bias there. I'm trying to leave that aside.
He was probably watching you as well for cards received, yellow and red, down through the years.
Yeah, I think someone looked it up, and he had more now. A couple of mine went off the radar because they were in pre-season friendlies and all. So I'm glad he has that record over me. But there was one match, the Sligo match actually, he got sent off, and I went on. I've been waiting for my chance all year, and then like, come on, Jim Magilton's saying, "Come on, Flynn, you go in there, give it your best. You've been waiting on your chance all year." And my first tackle, I got sent off. So we went into the dressing room then, and Pat Sullivan was saying, "What's going on?" And I says, "I'm after being sent off." And just go, "Oh, jeez, we're in for it now." So he was good for me. He was.
I'm just thinking, actually, it'd be great. This might be for another day, but it would be great to pick the 1 to 11 the hardest 1 to 11 from Rovers down through the years.
Yeah, it'd be a good one. For me, some fans think mine was half an act, and mine was more hothead than being hard, but I don't mind when players say that. Now that I'm finished, I can say I'm a bit of a soft.
Well, listen, who are you putting in at left back?
Left back was a hard one now because it was between two, to be honest with you, Enda Stevens and Ian Birmingham. Ian, in the whole league, when he was at Rovers, when he was at Pats first, then Rovers, then Pats again, he's been tremendous. He's got great goals, but I had to go for Enda. That season, 2011, when he was at Rovers on the European stage, he doesn't look quick and he's a big duck arse, but nobody can get by him. He's really quick and going forward. His feet are really good, and he's a good learner, and that's why I think he went over and did as well as he did in England. But he just about beat Bermo to it. It was a tough choice, but Enda for his overall game, I thought deserved to win left back.
Did he get the move to England, do you think, on the basis of the performances in Europe?
Yeah, well, I know a couple of clubs are looking at him before that, and the European thing probably helped it then to see what he could do, because some clubs in England probably don't take our league as serious as they should, but when you come in the top four in Ireland, it gives you a chance to show what you can do on the European stage, and Enda showed more than anybody what he's capable of, and he's gone on to have a great career, and he's another one that's a great fella, and like, you wish him all the luck in the world, and you want him to do well, and he did, because he had a big setback in England when he went as well, and showed his resilience after the Villa thing didn't work, and for him to bounce back and come back to the Premier League, it's unheard of really. So he'd be my number 3.
Okay, so then your 2 centre halves?
2 centre halves. Dan Murray, he's my number 4. He was the one I was saying, I don't think we realised how much we missed him at Rovers until he was gone. He was composed, a leader, and he wasn't a shouter. He talked really well. He led in the dressing room. Standards were always good. And as I said, when he left Rovers, we realised how good he was. But he was a winner, and he brought that mentality. He won things at Cork, brought it to Rovers, and it's no coincidence we won then. For me, his biggest attribute when I was playing on the right beside him, he constantly talks. So if the ball was up the far end of the pitch, he'd be talking to his right back, to his left back, to his, and it's just keeping on your toes more than anything. And probably to do his running so he didn't have to, that way. But it's clever. He realised what he was good and what he wasn't so good at.
I mean, he's probably more, in a way, he's more associated with Cork City, having had the 2 spells there, and yet the time he had at Rovers was a really important time in his career as well.
Yeah, it was huge, and I think he really enjoyed it. Himself and Dan Murphy come up together, so that would have helped. And Pat Sullivan was there at the time as well. But listen, we got lucky. We played some nice friendlies, and then we earned a look then with the big European games, and Dan stood out in a couple. He got unlucky then because he was injured for a couple as well. But he's a really good player, and for me, probably the best centre back the league's ever seen.
Wow, that's some accolade. And who's his partner then at centre back?
This is the tough one now. Dan was always going in, so it was between Aidan Price, Craig Sivis, and Darren Maguire for me. And one other who I put in was Conor Kennett. I had to go for Conor. He was similar to Dan. He wasn't too aggressive, but how he read the game was really good. I was at Pats with him for that year, and was trying to get him out of the team myself, and I found it so hard because I was playing centre back as well. But left and right foot, he was really good. I don't think people realised how good he was on the ball. He was one who was a leader of men in dressing rooms. Now he'd do everything in the players' interests, and he wasn't a shouter, but he'd do it quietly and make sure everybody was looked after. But he came up with some important goals. He wasn't the tallest, but how he attacked set pieces, even when I did play against him, it's just a little movement. You see a few players. Brian Garland has it. He's really good at it. Conor Kennett was, so I put him in there as well. But that was probably the toughest one, leaving Aidan Price, Sivis, and Darren Maguire. I was go for Conor.
I'll be talking to you after this now.
I know.
In midfield, then, is it 3 or 4?
I'm going for 1 sitting in front of the back 4, and then 3 in front of him. So, the one sitting, Stephen Rice. He probably typified what Rovers were at the time I was there. He was tenacious, hard working, and he was a winner. And again, it's no coincidence we won when Ricer was there. There was a couple of good things came from the Pat Scully era. I don't think he gets enough credit. Pat Scully, he left the club with a lot of workers. So when Michael O'Neill came in, he didn't have to do anything with that side. Like if you look at Gerard O'Brien, Toyd Purcell, myself, Ricer, Aidan Price, we're all hard workers. And when new players come into the club under Michael O'Neill, then Ricer made sure training levels were up to that peak. And again, it wasn't by how he shouted with a ball or anything. That was how he trained. He was tenacious and he brought it into matches. You know, he was the ultimate pro, and you can see it now even in his coaching. He wants to make every player better. That's all he's interested in. It's not about himself or himself looking after his own jobs. He just wants to make players better. So that's what he was like as a player. He wanted to make himself better.
And that goal of White will always go down in history as well.
Yeah, I'd say Pat Sullivan's sick. Pat Sullivan still thinks it was travelling in, and Ricer went on a little tap in. And as much as I don't shut up about Ronaldo, Ricer doesn't shut up about that goal.
It's interesting actually what you were saying there about training as well, because I'm watching the documentary on Netflix at the moment about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls team. And the one thing that comes across really strongly in that is, like, he was obviously the best player in the team, but in training, he was as intense and worked as hard in training as he did on a match day. And he drew his teammates to strive to try and match his greatness in a way. And it kind of proved how important training can be.
Yeah, it's huge. If training is not right, it's not when you can't just train bad all week and bring it onto the pitch. Ricer set a standard, and some players wanted to get up to that standard. Some players wanted to show they're better than Ricer, so they had to work harder, and he brought everything up. We went out for a night out with Ricer, actually. This is how obsessed he is with football. And it was just the two of us on a high stool, and I says, I'm going to the toilet. I came back, he had a beer mat ripped up into a 4-4-2 and started talking to me about football on a night out. I said, Ricer, I think you need a break. So it was just football. It was 24/7 with him. But he wouldn't change. He's a great lad, and was honoured to play with him then and win the league at Longford as well. He's part of the reason Longford got up to the Premier League that year as well.
Yeah, I think he'll go on to be a great manager. I mean, he's doing his badges and seems to be making great progress. The other three in midfield then?
Yeah, I've probably gone for a diamond or just three in front of him. I just needed to fit these players in. I'll just say as a diamond, on the right of the diamond, Chris Forrester. I played with Chris Forrester at Pats as well. And the first time I played against him actually was we were at Rovers and we played a Leinster Senior Cup game, I think, against Bows. And he was running the show. Like, we played a second string team, that's what I was playing. And I kept trying to smash him, and he's tough as well. He just glided. He had what Paddy McCord had. He doesn't look quick, but when he was by you with the ball, there was no catching him. And he was a match winner. He scored beautiful goals. Obviously, I joined Pats that year, and I think the score was 5-0 or 5-1 against Rovers. That's scoop. That's what he did. He was brilliant to watch. You'd pay money to watch him, and there's not enough of those players in the league at the moment. You know, there's probably 10 I can think of off my head, but Christy Forrester really lit it up when he played.
When he first came on the scene, I always thought he looked like he needed to develop physically to really push on. Like, he looked very, very skinny. Yeah,
he actually was very skinny, but he's tough and he was wiry. I think he scored probably 3 or 4 goals that year from set pieces as well, so he doesn't get the credit from corner kicks as well, and physically he was able to put it in, and that's probably the street football coming out. You always hear lads going on about street football, but that was probably the toughness he had instead of the physicality he needed. So I'd put him in the midfield, definitely. I had to fit him in.
And who'd be on the left then?
On the left is Joe Doe. He's probably one of the best players in the league. He played at Rovers for that short spell in 2008, I think it was, or last year in Talca. And at the time, Ricer was out of the team, so I got the privilege to play in midfield with Joe. And it was just magic to watch him play. I tried to step over one training and one match, and skinned some player and tried a diag and kicked it into the stand. And for the next 2 minutes, Joe Doe just watched the game like that, watching me. And he just goes, at half time, he dragged me in and said, Flinchy, that's what he called me, Flinchy. He goes, just win the ball and give it to the good players. That's what he said. So from then on, I just won the ball and gave it to Joe and let him play. But he was a magician. He was really quick. He was strong. There was no getting by him. And he was a match winner again. Everywhere he went, he won things. Sligo. And he's just a really good player and really good to watch. And more than that, again, he was another good lad that I learned a lot from, not just football, but off the pitch as well.
Like, everybody I've spoken to who played against him or played with him says, you know, he's up there as one of the best players that maybe ever played in the league. And I'm just wondering why he didn't maybe move on to, you know, play in Europe, or, you know, I'm thinking like the leagues in Spain or Portugal or something like that might have suited him. Yeah,
I'd be interested to know myself, because so he was 2 steps, I always felt, ahead of everybody else, and sometimes it was to his downfall. I've seen players like Mark Quigley, I always thought was 2 steps ahead of players, but sometimes he hadn't the players to feed those balls into channels or to his feet. It was no coincidence when Joe Doe and Richie Ryan played together. Like, they were on the same wavelength. They were that step ahead of everybody, and it was magic to watch. But why he didn't go on, I'm not sure, but he got the chance to play in Europe most years. If he went to a French club, would he have played in the top 4 or 5? I don't think so. Yeah. So maybe it was he wanted to play in Europe, or maybe he's happy in Ireland.
Maybe he likes Sligo. Not a bad place to live.
That's it, yeah. Good night out.
So top of the diamond then, or in the middle of it?
Top of the diamond, just behind the front 2. Again, it was another hard one, but I went for Gary McCabe. Like, Gary scored huge goals. If you ask Pat Sullivan even, he'd say his goal was a better goal against Partizan, the one in Tallaght. Sully's goal itself. But Gary scored some great goals, assists as well, and he's one of the players who could beat a player. There's not many left. People just try to hit it by you or cut inside. Gary actually stands you up and beat you, and he had a little bit of a temper in him as well. He probably has more red cards than me and Pat Sullivan together. So he had it all, to be honest with you, and it was good that he got to showcase it in Europe as well.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, it runs in the family because the sister's an Irish international as well. So
Yeah, it's no coincidence. They like move the same. They both beat players, and they're both really good to watch. So there must be something in the genes there.
yeah, yeah. So you only have two places up front then.
Yeah, two players, and the reason why I couldn't leave any of them out, so that's why I needed two up front. The first one is Christy Fagan. Pat's, when people talk about the best players in the league, I still think he goes under the radar a bit. He was really good. His movement, again, that year, I think he played with Keith Fahey, was like they just got each other, you know, that way. He come into the ball, hold it up really well, and we had a chance to sign him at Rovers in 2000 when Michael first came in. Yeah. And I don't know why it never happened, whether Christie didn't want it or whether Michael didn't fancy it, but it was Pat's game. His movement was brilliant, how clever he was, and he'd score all types of goals. He wasn't probably a poacher, but he'd bend them in from 20 yards, 30 yards, and then he'd turn it in a sixpence like the way Bergkamp would. So, and again, he was another one that if you asked anybody who's ever played with him, nobody'd have a bad word to say about him. He's just a good person, and he got his rewards with his FAI Cup at Pats. I was delighted for him.
Yeah, I know. I've spoken to Conan Byrne about Christy. He's a huge fan of Christy Fagan's, and he, like yourself, just can't speak highly enough about him. Yeah,
he's one of these. He'd go under the radar, and you mightn't even know he's there. But he has this ability to make players, or just as a person, to make you feel good when he talks to you. He's a genuine interest, and that's what he gives around the dressing room. That's why it's forgotten in football sometimes, but that's what Christie would also give around the dressing room. So for me, he's one of the best, and that's why he's up front.
So one last place, we'll give him the number 9.
Yeah, Gary Twigg. Had to be Gary Twigg. He's just scored goals. I marked him in training, and I'm still trying to coach young lads the last 3 or 4 years how to play in the shoulder, and Twiggy did it naturally. It'd be good to show them videos of him. He was constantly on the shoulder. He scored goals, but he scored important goals in important time, and no more than all the ones against Bows. That's probably why he's loved by Rovers and hated by them. But I'd say when I went to Pats that year, we played Rovers, and Dave Campbell was really good at doing opponents' strengths and weaknesses. And he did one on Twiggy, and he said, outside the box, slow, won't score, but inside the box, he's like Usain Bolt. Don't give him a chance. So he nearly was 2 different players inside and outside the box.
Yeah.
Like, you could think he did a good job on Twiggy, saying, oh, he's quiet. And it's not till you go home and look and live's gone and say, it's quiet, but he scored 2 or 3 goals, you know that way?
Yeah. Do you know what? I'd actually love to see him at the club as a forwards coach for all the young kids at the various age levels, you know. I think he's a lot.
It'd be great to have him back, because one thing he had in training, he was greedy. So even the little rebounds off a keeper, if we're doing shooting and it's one-touch finish, he'd score the rebounds, he'd tap in everything. If there's a ball a yard on the line and we're walking off training, he'd tap in it. He just needed to score, and it's what he needed. And he brought it onto the pitch. It was like he couldn't miss. And he's one of the best poachers like that for me, and really good in the air as well. So Twiggy be up there with Christy Fagan.
It's a heck of a good team. Alan Manus in goal, back 4 of Pat Sullivan, Dan Murray, Conor Kenna and Enda Stevens. Stephen Rice is the holding midfielder. Christy Forrester, Gary McCabe, Joey Endo, and then up front, Gary Twigg and Christy Fagan. That's a great 1 to 11, Pajo. In terms of the players that kind of came closer that you had to leave out, were there, you know, that centre-half one, was that the closest?
Yeah, there was another one, Alan Reynolds. I played with him at Waterford, and he was hard to leave out now. I was more thinking about my team. I couldn't play him and Reisler together.
Yeah.
But I wanted to put him in as well, because people think he was just tough, but he could play football really well. And like Simon Madden could have gone in as easy at right back instead of Pat Sullivan. We had a couple of midfielders as well, Chris Turner, Billy Dennehy on the left. I was going to put. There's so many, but you're just. In my opinion, it was just like maybe what they've won as well and what they've went on to achieve more than who I'm more friendly with.
And listen, one last thing before we let you go, because I know your last match for Longford was against Rovers, and obviously, you know, everybody knows that you're a Rovers fan through and through, green and white blood flowing through your veins. How difficult was it to bow out playing against Rovers, or was that kind of special in a way?
Yeah, it was really nice. We had bad hip problems, and we knew it was finishing, and I just told my family, you know, someone put it on Facebook, and the Rovers fans, I think they did just a mediocre season that year, and many weren't going to travel, but a lot of them came down because I was finishing up that year, which was really nice. I scored an OG in that match, although Longford didn't give me credit, so it was my first goal for Rovers. So it was nice to score for them finally, but no, it was brilliant. I went off, and Jason Maloney said some really nice words about me. He did my own retirement speech that day. Went down well as well, but it was just like, it was an honour to play for Rovers. I love the club. The first time I ever watched them, me and my friend Graham used to go and watch Bray, because Graham's in the wheelchair, obviously it was easy access, and we loved the League of Ireland. I got the tickets free with Joey's, and we used to watch Bray versus Derry versus Cork, and then the first time Rovers came to town, it just blew my mind, and I could never associate with Bray because I'm from Dublin and Bray's a Wicklow team, so like from that moment, Graham was already a Rovers fan, and anyway, from that moment, Rovers are sold to me. I went to England and missed it all then, but when I came back and Rovers showed interest after Waterford, I was delighted. And like, when people ask me about my favourite games as well, I know I'm rambling on a bit, but I always forget the first game of the season in 2008, I think it was, against Drogheda. Drogheda were the champions from the year before, and we won 1-0, but I've never played in front of a crowd like that. They were mad. And it's what you read about them, they're mad, they're boisterous, they're everything. And I was delighted to play in front of that. So, yeah, my blood's green and white, and now my young lad's blood's the same. So it's nice to have.
And listen, we can't. I think you've probably never been interviewed ever without talking about the match against Real Madrid and Ronaldo, your old pal.
Yeah.
That must be a special memory to have, all the same.
Yeah, it is. It's great, and it's like, I know I mess sometimes on Twitter talking about it. I'm actually, sometimes I get bored of myself talking about it.
Never replied to you on Twitter yet, has he?
No, still not on Twitter. But it's nice to tell my kids, and when you see what he went on to win, like, he's the best player in the world for 5 or 6 times, won Champions Leagues after that, and just to say you're on the same pitch as Ronaldo, and I know we played Juventus after Del Piero, but that's all because of the League of Ireland and the Shamrock Rovers. Football gave me that chance, and I said it before, it's not because I'm a good player. I was one of the most average players you see, but I worked hard. And I said it before, if I can do it, play against these players, anybody can. So it was an honour to play for Rovers and to play against Ronaldo as well.
And I think that's one of the reasons why the fans love you as well, because you never gave anything less than 100%. And I think opponents didn't enjoy playing against you, that's for sure. Listen, Padjo, thanks a million. That's a great 1-11, and hopefully, crossed, we'll see each other up in Tala very soon. A few weeks, couple of months, who knows? Soon.
Touch wood. It'll be a hell of a night, and anyway, whenever it is.
It'll be great. Yeah. Listen, thanks a million, Padjo. And
thanks very much.
Take care. Mind yourself.
Bye-bye.
Take it easy. See ya.